It's been a hot second or two since we did a fan-made Legends video. It's like one of my most requested series is on the channel, but it's just been so hard to find quality ones recently. That's not a diss on like the close to 2,000 people whose Legends I've scrolled through. It's just that it's one, really time consuming to like take ideas from videos and then like create characters on my own and like adjustments to everything. So I kind of like always keep a watchful eye out for whenever I see any like fully rendered out ones that have like images and stuff on the subreddit or on Twitter, or you know, people who send them to me as well. So actually I have two of them today that we're going to go over, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about something that one of the devs said regarding this, not my videos in general, just the whole like concept of player made legends, and unfortunately why they'll never be able to be included in the game. Now I have not proofread any of this at all, so if you're seeing this video, it means that these abilities are at least like kind of unique or interesting, and we're gonna go through them. If you've never seen any of these videos, I'll put a link to a playlist down in the description, but basically I just read through them and talk about how it could be implemented in the game, if I think it would be good or bad, and then give it an overall rating. So there's a little quote that goes with this character who's named Ember and comes from Reddit. She was posted by Infantale over on the Apex Legends subreddit, so thank you to that person. But the quote says, "Your little thermites don't scare me. I've walked through fire more times than you could imagine." So just from that and from the name Ember and the description Pyro Mercenary, we're kind of starting to get the idea that this is a fire-based character. Now we've talked about several of these in these videos before, but let's see if this brings like any kind of new or unique abilities to the table. So first we got to read through a little bit of this backstory here. So buckle in, grab some popcorn, and let's get down to it. Ember was a mercenary pilot hired by the IMC during the final years of the Frontier War, who is known for her skills in pyrotechnics and destructive and aggressive fighting style. During one unfortunate mission, Ember's squad was ambushed and bombed. Her Titan was scorched and was barely able to shield her from the explosion. She made it out with parts of her body badly scarred by burns, as well as her left arm charred completely off. After Ember recovered from her injuries, she sneaked onto the site, smuggled and rebuilt the salvaged remains of Scorch into her thermite tech to continue to fight alongside her fallen friend. At this point, the IMC had dissolved almost entirely, but some remnants had moved on to work with the Syndicate. With the unearthing of the labs in Kings Canyon Arena, the Syndicate hired Ember and a handful of the remaining former IMC to infiltrate the games and destroy evidence of the unethical experiments conducted inside these facilities. So, the real name is unknown. She's aged 37 and from the home planet of Solus. So that's pretty cool. There's a really definitely unique background to this character, one that is really well embedded inside the universe of the game. So I do appreciate that quite a bit, but let's move on to the abilities. So the tactical ability is called Firewall, and it is a deployable tripwire grenade that can latch onto surfaces, excluding the floor, and spews out a wall of flames similar to a thermite when activated, dealing burn damage. Now, I really think that that's a great ability. I think that's really cool. Apex has needed a different alternative to trap characters. I think this would definitely stand as a little bit of a replacement to Watson's fences in a way. It would have to definitely have a shorter burn time, probably maybe only like 5 seconds or so, long enough for you to get a shield cell off but not a battery. That way, you know, it could be definitely in the way, but not be something that is going to be completely barring areas for an extended period of time. Additionally, it would also have to have like a radius where it would start going off, and the radius would have to be further back than where the actual fire comes out. That way, if you move towards a doorway, you can like set it off beforehand so it doesn't hurt you. And it would obviously have to be, you know, slightly obvious, kind of like a Capcan trap in Rainbow Six. Moving on to the passive ability though, it's called Playing with Fire. Now, I can definitely say for certain, judging from the amount of fire, like kind of pyrotechnic characters we've looked at in the past, this one's probably going to be pretty obvious. Basically, it just says it reduces burn damage taken by 50%, and the thermite grenades can be modded into firewall charges when the tactical is on cooldown. Now that is unique. I really like the ability to take just a regular object that anyone could have, but use it towards your kit. That is really, really, really crazy. I like that a lot. I want to move on to the ultimate ability, though, which, you know, I obviously don't have any idea what this is just as much as you guys do, but let's just get into it. It's called Scorch's Legacy, which has the description of temporarily replace current equipped weapon with a flamethrower for 20 seconds, slows movement, deals burn damage to enemies, and damage increases the longer the enemy is damaged by the flames. This is very similar to something that we had previously in one of our different videos, and I'm just going to kind of say the same thing that I said there, where one, I'm not a huge fan of the idea of like having a weapon as your ultimate ability, especially one that deals tick damage, but I think in this case, 20 seconds might be a little bit too long, but I think that's more of like a test server thing. I can't be like, 17.3 seconds is the exact amount of time that it would take Scorch to kill 3 players. It has to be like, you know, they'd have to test it, obviously. But I just, I'm not really a huge fan of that idea. Obviously, it would need to have like a pretty short distance. Like, you wouldn't be able to shoot this flamethrower like 10 meters. Otherwise, it would have to have some kind of code where it does less damage after like every few increments. So like if you barrel stuff them, it does more damage than if they're like 6 meters away. That kind of thing. But yeah, it could work. It would just take a lot of balancing on the devs part, and judging by like the amount of balancing that's gone on in the past, might not be a good idea to put something that would need that much attention into the game. But hey, I think it's a pretty cool idea. Overall, I'd probably give this character about an 8 out of 10. I really like the firewall, and I love the ability to be able to use like regular items like that thermite grenade towards your kit. I just think that's a very cool idea, and I thought the backstory was done really well. So let's move on to our second character. Now, I have not read any of this either, so let's just get into it. It's called Holiday. It's drawn in a very similar style, but the last one said that the concept was done by Trash_Senpai, and this one was done by Zim2Draws. Now, the concept art for this character looks really cool. Honestly, it looks like an Overwatch character, like that similar style, which I really enjoy. Now, it says, "Don't push my buttons." Literally, I'm not sure what most of these are for on the top. And then we have the name, which is Holiday, who is an interstellar voyager. Now, let's get into, we got some paragraphs here to read. So if you want to read ahead, you can, but I'm going to read it for everybody else. Once Holiday was a human. She thinks. It's been over 300 years since her consciousness was first uploaded into a prototype simulacrum body to test the limits and potential of the program that would soon be implemented by the IMC on their best pilots. Holiday was frankly not one of their best. She was signed up as a test subject for the program. Nobody saw it as a great loss in the ranks. Unfortunately, her simulation fell apart too easily, and her programming included too much of her personality and too little of her questionably competent combat abilities. After countless revisions resulted in increased glitches in her programming, she was eventually discarded and forgotten as a failed version by her creators. The owners of Freddy's Pizzeria found her and completely revamped her, turned her into an animatronic, which you can see in Five Nights at Freddy's 7, the revamped version of Five Nights at Freddy's 2, Holiday Coffin Edition. However, after that didn't work out, she kept on existing and began to travel every known star and solar system in search for her next mission. Now she believes to have found it in the seemingly never-ending fight of the Apex games. Her flawed programming and remaining tactical skills from her former life make her an unpredictable but considerable force to deal with in the ring. Pretty cool. Not as detailed, I guess, as Ember was, but I still really enjoyed it, especially the Five Nights at Freddy's bit. I think that's just, you know, a little cool nod to Scott Cawthon, who's been working hard making a new Five Nights at Freddy's game every 12 minutes. But we got to talk about these abilities. So the first ability that comes with Holiday is Leap. Use your jump kit to propel yourself a few meters through the air. So that's a pretty simple ability. It's almost like just a jump pack from Halo where you can activate it. It would allow you to like get up to higher areas. It's like a built-in Octane jump pad kind of, I guess, except, you know, you don't have to place anything. You can just do it. This would be really good for movement. I think if the cooldown was pretty low on it, like maybe like 10 seconds, I think that would be pretty cool. It would help you get on top of buildings and stuff like that. The passive is called Star Hopper. Short boosts from your jump kit allow you to double jump and have increased movement speed while midair. I think that Holiday would have really good movement. A very simple character who doesn't bring a ton to the team, but as an individual character, is just kind of like a little bit of like a worse Wraith with more verticality. So honestly, I could see Holiday being like not a meta character, but one that's just really fun to play. But we got to get into the ultimate, which is called Shooting Star. Every squad member gets one charge to use their jump kits to rise to a certain altitude and then fall back down to the map. So basically, the ultimate ability is just like shooting everybody into the air, but I'm assuming it's one that you'd have to like actively choose to use. Like you'd have to hit a button or press a key in order to activate it. This could be good for repositioning or to getting to areas that are more difficult to get to. However, it feels like this is just a more convenient balloon tower, and I don't really see like a ton of practical use for it. Definitely a unique ability, but just not one that I can see having a ton of like practical uses. So let me know what you think down below. Do you think that any of these abilities would really be really good in Apex at all? Or do you think that it's just kind of more complicated movement? Also, let me know, who do you think was the better character, Ember or Holiday? Unfortunately, I can't put a poll up anymore because for some reason YouTube doesn't let creators do that anymore. So you'll have to let me know down below in the comments. Basically, what I was saying earlier, like much earlier, was from Tom Casiello, who is a writer over at Respawn, and essentially he just said that unfortunately, even though they think a lot of the ideas are cool for these legends that people are creating, it's really difficult in order to incorporate any of those ideas, because there's a lot of like copyright laws and plagiarism laws and that kind of stuff. However, that's going to be all for me for this video for today though, guys. So if you like this video, make sure to hit that like button on your way out, as it really helps the video in search results. Make sure if you enjoy the kind of content that I make, you join the club by hitting that red subscribe button right underneath this video. It's completely free, and you can feel free to unsubscribe at any time if you start to not enjoy my content. That's going to be it for me though, guys. So thank you so much for watching. If you made it all the way through, you are a legend, and that's going to be it for me though. So until tomorrow, take it easy.